And I'm going to tell you guys how bad it is out there with the average dude when it comes to women. I mean, I'm over 60, so none of this applies to me. Because I'm not looking for a broad. I got broads I see. Some more than others. But the reality is, I follow 4 what you would call chads. I call them studs. Online, I've been following some of these guys a long time. One of them is a Canadian Chad, terryjoeljunior. I'll tag him in the vid. I think I was his 27,000 subscriber, and now he's got 120. So I've been with this dude for like 3 years. And I watch about, I don't know, maybe 60% of his vids I watch. So we got terryjoeljunior. We've got a Washington Chad out of Seattle named Dev Campbell. We've got Brian Mitchell. He's another Chad. And there's one other, Brock something. I'm going to try to find him on my YouTube. But while I'm looking for him in my YouTube history, or under my subcategory, basically, the reality is, if you go to these gentlemen's sites, you get to see that these dudes are, Brian Whitworth, Dev Campbell, DEV, and terryjoeljunior. And then there's another, this guy's more, he's a Chad, and they're all like late 20s, 30s, early 40s. They're between 30 and 40, most of these guys. The other guy is just real MGTOW. This last guy I'm looking for, I can't think of his name. He just doesn't want anything to do with women. Like, he's only looking for a relationship if a lady fucking just comes right up. He doesn't believe in dating. He doesn't believe in texting. He doesn't even want to talk to women and shit. Seriously, this dude, what is his name? I'm looking, I know I've got him here somewhere, but the point is, why I'm mentioning these 4 dudes? Because if these dudes are having fucking trouble with women, don't you think the average guy is? Now, obviously, these guys have higher standards. They're dealing with, the 7s, the 8s, the 9s, the 10s. But even if these guys were dealing with women that were 5s, they'd have the same fucking problem. Okay, the 4th guy's name I can't find offhand. But the reality is, I'll tag him in this vid. I'll find him eventually. I don't know why I can't find him. Oh, no. Marshall Brockway. He talks about semen retention. Marshall Brockway. He's from, I think he's from Washington, too. I don't know. Doesn't matter. And then let's throw in there Jeremy, Radio Foreman. He's a good-looking dude. He's above average looking. He's fit. And also, he's been a fucking incel. Well, he's a volcel for like 8 years. So I'm telling you, a lot of these guys just are not getting, they just don't want to deal with women. Now, could these guys go out and date some 180-pound woman? Of course. Could these guys go out and just get fucked, have one-night stands? Obviously. That's not the problem with these dudes. But they're not looking just for that. These guys are looking for relationships with women at their ages. It's the women that aren't looking. So basically what I'm saying is, guys, you guys who are subnormies or average looking or even Chads, you're all in the same fucking lifeboat. You're all out there on the big, I hear the wind blowing outside. I got my door open, my screen door, and I can hear it's windy out and stuff, which makes it nice. It's kind of cool in here. The wind's blowing maybe 20, 30 miles per hour. I don't know. I'll go out soon. But the reality, I gotta go out and buy some edibles somewhere. I don't know. But the reality is, all men. So you gotta remember, just because a guy's a Chad, or I don't like the term Chad, it sounds gay. A stud. Let's just say a stud. That's the old term we used to use. And some of these guys are jack studs like Terry Joe. These guys are not these guys, wait, see, when you get to their level, they're almost too good for women. Yet they're dealing with women who think they're too good for them. These guys, it's funny, not funny, it's pathetic. Like these are guys that even get ghosted by chicks because they know chicks have so many options. I guarantee you, if these guys were like over 50 or like over 60 like me, and they were my age, I was their age back, but they wouldn't be having this problem. Before social media, women didn't have all the options. Think about it. Before social media, before the internet, before all these, I mean, it started with these AOL chat rooms and shit. Before all that shit, maybe you had a party line where you could meet a chick. I remember there was an occasional party line you could meet chicks on. Otherwise, it was all done IRL, baby. You either met them at school, you either met them at just the library, work. That's why so many people were fucking at work. It was the only place to meet before everybody became such fucking snowflakes. So, I mean, when I worked for the LA Times, a supervisor of mine I fucked. I should have sued them. I should have fucking sued them. But back then you couldn't sue for sexual harassment. Technically, she fucked me, she seduced me, and she was my supervisor. I could have sued them for sexual harassment. Yeah. She and I had a fling for like 6 months. In fact, I was like living in her apartment in West LA, man. She was like 2 or 3 years older than me, too. I think I was like 25, she was 28. Yeah, she seduced. I remember one time she asked me, like, she was kind of like, not really my full-time boss, but she would fill in my department as my supervisor. And she actually trained me. And I would walk her to her car because we parked in the same lot. And I would just think nothing of it. We're just friends, I wasn't even thinking about fucking this chick because I knew she had a boyfriend or an on-again, off-again boyfriend that worked there. So it wasn't even on my radar. I wasn't seeing anybody. But I remember one time she had a Volvo. No, not between her legs. That's a Volvo. She had a Volvo car and she needed to take it to Santa Monica dealership to drop off. And she asked me if I could follow her, take her home to her apartment afterwards, and then she was going to get a ride to work the next day. Now, I don't know how much of this was premeditated on her part or what, but I remember exactly. I followed her to the Santa Monica Volvo dealership right after work. And she used to, like, literally, I remember she used to, like, after work, we'd walk out of work together sometimes. And we'd walk to the parking lot we parked at was like probably, I want to say it was like a good 200-300 yards away, a quarter. It was like a block or two over. You had to be an executive to park in the building there. But basically we used to walk. It was just I wasn't even, I was attracted to her. But I mean, the last thing on my mind was I was thinking, I'm going to fuck this chick. And I remember basically, lots of times she'd sit in my car, I'd sit in her car, and we would just talk for like 30 minutes or an hour after work. So we were just friends, She wasn't that much older than me, 2-3 years. So she asked me to take her to Santa Monica one time to follow her there. So we dropped her car off at the dealership. And then she goes, I'll go buy you dinner. I remember specifically we went to a place called the Bicycle Cafe. It was like in West LA, either on Santa Monica Boulevard or Wilshire, one of those streets. So we go to the Bicycle Cafe, and I think it was Santa Monica Boulevard, like down from the New Art Theater. She was like on the other side of the 405, close to the beach. So we go in there, we're eating. We're not even drinking booze or nothing, I mean, this chick was horny without booze. Okay, so afterwards, she asked me to drive her to pick up her car. That's what it was. She asked me to drive her to pick her car up, not to drop it off. That's what it was. So I drive her to go get her car. She picks it up, and I follow her over to the Bicycle Cafe. She parks, I park, we go in, we eat. And then we come back out, And I'm planning on going home pretty much. And she's going to go home. So, but before we do that, we get into her car. Because I remember I was sitting in the passenger side. I think she was driving me to my car. I parked a little further away. So she was driving me to my car. Because it's LA, sometimes you got to park 200 yards from a fucking restaurant to get a spot. So we went to the fucking, we got in her car. We drove to where my car was and we was talking for about 10, 15 minutes. Next thing I know, I can't remember exactly how it went down. She just fucking goes over the fucking console because there was bucket seats and sits right on my lap facing me and starts making out with me. I'm telling you, man, she was like the aggressor, man. And obviously I didn't put up a fight. So we're making out. I'm feeling up her titties and shit. And she's like my fucking supervisor part-time. Next thing I know, she goes, let's go back to my place. I don't know. I think she said a typical line like, we shouldn't really be doing it. No, I don't even think she said that. She said this. At this, I remember she goes, she was all horny. And she goes, let's go back to my place before I change my mind. Ooh, okay. So I remember I got out. I followed her back to her place. She only lived like 5 minutes from there. We parked, went up to her place. And we're just like right on her bit. Within like 5 minutes of entering her building, my fucking head's between her fucking legs, eating her vajayjay out. It was just, I've just banged her all fucking night. Yeah. It was just. Now, was it premeditated? Did she have all that planned out? Did she know in her head she was going to fuck me that night? I don't know. But obviously, I knew she liked me. I mean, but I literally thought she just liked me as a friend, just because we had similar interests. I didn't think I knew I kind of looked a little like her boyfriend. I had a beard back then, and I sort of looked like the guy she was dating, but she was on again, off again with the dude. He wasn't some executive. He was the guy. Back in the day, the LA Times used to put out these commercials. They had a deal with the movie theaters where they would give the movie theaters free advertising for movie times in exchange for running their stupid commercials, which was like played in between movies at intermission. And he was the guy. They were like these 30-second, 1-minute spots about, the history of the LA Times or some bullshit. He was the one that made those up. So he had a decent, he was like, involved in like the, I don't know, PR art. He was like a photographer art. I don't know, a film. I mean, it wasn't like a real filmmaker, but that's what he did. He made those commercials. So, and she told me one time she fucked him up in a projection booth in an auditorium. She told me she fucked this dude up there. So this was a horny Mexican Latina. Very smart girl. She ended up becoming a doctor. And she's a professor, right? I'm not going to say her name, but she's literally right now a professor at Chapman College. Literally. And she ended up marrying some reporter from the LA Times who, I don't know if he still works there or whatever. He's does like a travel reporter, but oh yeah, her sister worked for that famous rock critic. What was his name? I can't remember. But we used to get like free. Yeah, we used to get like free tickets to rock shows. I forgot his name. He was a very famous critic for rock shows. So I just fucked the crap. Her and I fucked. Then I moved in with her for like 6 months. So guys, it was that easy back then to get for JJ. Was she a narc? No. Was she a prick tease? No. She was a good fuck.